Welcome to this instructional video on how to create a virtual escape room. My name is Peggy Halsweiss and I'm a professor at Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, Texas. While I teach in a fully online master's program for higher education administration, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I wanted to find some fun new ways to engage students in the online environment. As I explored different options, I found an article about a community librarian who created a virtual escape room to encourage kids to read the Harry Potter books. A companion video demonstrated how the escape room was made through Google Forms. I was hooked on the method and decided to learn as much as I could about the various techniques and resources so I could use virtual escape rooms as a course project. This video will share everything I learned about basic steps in virtual escape room creation, then offer ways to increase complexity. Before we begin, I need to acknowledge several people and entities. First, this video uses an escape room created with StudentAffairs.com founder Stuart Brown to illustrate the steps involved. Stuart created the story, and I turned the story into the escape room experience. You can find the original escape room at the provided link and see the final result of the steps we will cover in this video. Second, I need to acknowledge the K-12 and community educators who freely shared their knowledge of virtual escape rooms online. They both piqued my interest in virtual escape rooms and taught me different aspects of escape room creation. I follow in their footsteps by also offering my knowledge freely to anyone who is interested. Finally, while there is an industry for professional escape rooms, both virtual and physical, that require payment for participation, my purpose for designing and sharing escape rooms is for education. For that reason, I hope to make escape rooms accessible to everyone who wants to participate or create their own. To meet that goal, I relied exclusively on free technology. The Google suite of tools served as the foundation for the escape room creation, with Google Forms for entering answers and Google Slides providing imagery. There are also several free online puzzle sites where you can create your own puzzles. I will discuss these tools during the video. Let's begin by defining a virtual escape room. A virtual escape room is simply an online activity that asks participants to solve puzzles in a step-by-step fashion. Participants can only move to the next puzzle by solving the current puzzle. When all puzzles have been solved, the participants have successfully escaped. Why would someone in the higher education environment want to design a virtual escape room? It is a fun and different way to engage students in a specific topic. It is also flexible. You can adapt the escape room to any topic, include a variety of puzzles to solve, and make it easy or challenging as you would like. It can be performed online as individuals or in small groups through video conferencing breakout rooms, and be completed in a live synchronous format or through a self-paced asynchronous format. Finally, it can serve an educational purpose, an entertainment purpose, or both. There are some considerations to think through prior to creating a virtual escape room. First, it needs a story. The story connects all escape room steps, guides puzzle creation, and defines what visual elements should be emphasized. With so many moving parts, escape rooms can take a lot of time to create, and if you are creating an escape room that is free for you as the designer, you will need a Google account and may be asked to create a free account for some online puzzle tools. There are also copyright issues for images you may want to use for the escape room. The easiest approach is to limit images to the Creative Commons option in Internet searches so only images that are free to use and share are identified. Finally, even though virtual escape rooms can work in video conferencing systems in breakout rooms, be aware that only one person in a breakout room may be able to enter puzzle answers. That could limit how you implement an escape room in a live synchronous format. Let's walk through the steps of creating a virtual escape room. The first step is to establish a purpose for your escape room. For instance, you may want an escape room that is purely for entertainment, with fun stories and challenging puzzles. Or you may want an educational escape room that shares informative stories and puzzles that emphasize learning outcomes. Once you have a purpose, step 2 is to create a storyline or theme. You can pull from different sources to create a story or theme. For instance, you could think about popular stories from fairy tales, literature, television shows, or even full-length movies. You could even create your own stories based on something unique to your campus, such as a popular facility or a traditional event. You could also consider well-known themes such as Under the Sea or Spy Games. The selection of the story or theme will help you keep your escape room focused, as well as guide you in the identification of storylines to advance through the escape room and use visual images to further enhance the story. The best approach for escape room creation is to determine your full story before creating anything else. For the StudentAffairs.com escape room, we use the classic tale of A Christmas Carol. In this tale, a man is taken through past, future, and present Christmas holidays by a ghost to learn what mistakes he made that hurt people in his life. After the process, the man is changed and wants to help people rather than hurt them. I use Google Slides for both the story images and the escape room hidden clue rooms. For those who may not be familiar with Google Slides, it is Google's version of PowerPoint. Many of the same features exist, but there are some different approaches in Slides that you need to know to make the escape room creation a bit easier. I will first walk through how to access Slides and start a new file. Then I will demonstrate how to find free images and create story slides. This process is the same for each set of story slides, so I will only demonstrate the first set so you understand how to create them. First, access Google Slides by going to Google Drive. If you are using the Google Chrome browser, which I would recommend for the escape room creation, you can access Google Drive through the apps list, or you can navigate to drive.google.com. Google Drive provides 15 gigabytes of free storage, so there is plenty of space to create everything you need. This view is of my personal Google Drive, so my most recent files are displayed. I blurred them out to maintain privacy. In a normal view, you would see thumbnail images of each file. Additional files you may have saved previously will be listed below this section. To access Google Slides, click on the New button that also contains a plus sign. A drop-down menu will appear with Google Slides as an option. Simply click on Google Slides and a new document will open. This is a new Slides file. The first thing you should do is name your file. The next step is to get rid of the automatic title and subtitle boxes. The easiest way to do this is to highlight both boxes. Bring your cursor somewhere at the top of the slide, then click, hold, and drag the cursor down to below the subtitle box. You will see blue lines appear as you're performing this task. When you get below the subtitle, release your mouse. You should then see both boxes outlined in blue, which means they are both selected. Click the Delete button on your computer and both boxes will disappear, leaving you with a blank slide. The next step is to create the story slides. You can use the built-in image search tool to create the slide background. This tool will automatically search for Creative Commons images that are free to use. To find the tool, first select Insert from the menu toolbar. Then select Image from the drop-down list. When the next set of options appear, select Search the Web. The first set of story slides in the escape room is a coffee shop. I typed coffee shop in the image search bar and a variety of images came up. I personally prefer images that have no people in them, so the background is just the space. When you find an image you prefer, double-click on it and insert it into the slide. Once you find the desired image, expand it to cover the entire slide. You can do this by clicking on the blue dot on each side of the image and holding while you drag your mouse to the appropriate spot. We also need to adjust the transparency of the image because we need to add the story text. If the image is too dark, the text will be difficult to read. To adjust transparency, click on your image to select it. That will open the Format Options tool on the toolbar just above the image. Click on the Format Options tool, then click on Adjustments. To increase the transparency, click on the slider button under the word Transparency and drag it to the right. I put my transparency at 72%. This level still allows the image to be seen clearly while also allowing text to stand out. When you have the transparency where you would like it, close the Format Option box by clicking the X to the right of the Format Options title. Next, we need to add a text box so we can share the story. Go to the Insert menu on the toolbar, then select Text Box. Once you do that, the drop-down list will close and you will just see a plus sign as your cursor. Move the plus sign over the slide and click once. You will see a blue box appear. Type a short piece of your story in the box. You want the font to be large enough to read easily, so keeping it short will keep it readable. When you get your story piece entered, use your mouse to highlight the entire text, then select whatever font style and size you prefer. Here is the finished first story slide for our escape room. If you need to create more story slides with the same image in the background, just duplicate the slide you created and update the text in the text box. To duplicate the slide, go to the left-hand side of the screen where the thumbnail image of the slide is displayed. Put your mouse over the thumbnail image and right-click. Then select Duplicate Slide. When you are ready to update the text, go to the duplicated slide, highlight the text in the text box, then start typing the new piece of the story. Repeat the slide duplication for however many slides you need for that part of the story. You can repeat this entire process for each new story you need to tell. Once you are finished with the story slides, you need to save them each as image files to your own computer. You will need them when you put together the final escape room. To do this, go to the File option on the menu toolbar, select Download, then save as either a JPEG or PNG image. Before we move on to the escape room steps, I want to demonstrate how to add to the background images you create. For the classroom scene in our escape room, we started with a classroom image, but as you can see, it is quite bare. It needs more items in the room to make it come to life. This is especially important to do when you are creating hidden clue rooms. I will use one example here. Once you understand how it works, you can create more items for your hidden clue rooms and background images. We will add a backpack to this classroom scene, but we need to make sure it can easily fit in the room. First, go to the Insert option on the toolbar, then the Image option, then the Search the Web option. Instead of just searching for a backpack image, we need a transparent backpack, so there is no additional background that comes with the backpack. Simply type in backpack transparent and several options come up. Many are clip art backpacks, but I will select a more realistic backpack. Once you find one you like, double-click to add to your slide. When first added to the slide, it is very large. Resize the image by clicking on a blue dot in one of the corners of the image and dragging your mouse towards the middle of the image to resize it. Once it is the size you want, release the mouse. Then you can click on the image and drag it to the spot in the classroom where you want it to appear. Now the backpack looks like it belongs to the classroom. Repeat this process with every item you want to add. When you create a hidden clues slide, having a lot of items in the room can give you places to hide your clues. Remember to save the slide as an image file to your computer when you are finished adding items. You want to preserve the complete image for use in the final escape room. Now that we have covered how to create story slides, we can move on to planning and building content. There are 4 things we need for the escape room content. First, we need to determine what kind of puzzle we want participants to solve. Second, we need a lock to move the escape room forward. For instance, putting a jigsaw puzzle together may yield a special code word on that jigsaw puzzle image that participants can enter to move to the next part of the escape room. Any word, phrase, or number can serve as a lock. Determine how many locks you want to have in your escape room, then what those locks will be. Creating this information will help you design puzzles and clues. Third, make sure your locks and puzzles connect to the story you have chosen. Finally, use images to bring each piece to life. In the StudentAffairs.com escape room, one hidden clues room is the faculty lounge. I will use this room to illustrate how to create puzzles, locks, and a hidden clue room. Our escape room purpose is education, so in the faculty lounge we are educating about mental health issues for college students. The first item we need to create is the storyline that will share a little information with participants and guide them on what the room is about. To set up the topic, we will share a story about a faculty conversation regarding a student who had some mental health challenges. We also will work in mentions of both suicide prevention training to increase awareness of that resource, while also emphasizing privacy laws that provide some boundaries for our actions. For the puzzles and locks, we will use some statistics and key points about the topic. I listed the 3 statistics we have. We will use the 3 statistics for a math equation that will become the first part of the lock. A word puzzle will help us highlight several key points about college student mental health. But solving a puzzle is not enough. We need to make sure there is a purpose for the puzzle, so we will hide a secret phrase within the word puzzle. That secret phrase will be the second part of the lock. We also need to let participants know that they need 2 different responses to unlock the room, so the final piece is instructions. As a side note, as you create puzzles and locks, also create a reference list for any information you may use. This process not only helps you credit the sources, it also directs participants on where they can find more information on a specific topic if they need it. The statistics we need to share are just information, so we use the same process as before to create an image with Google Slides. Search for an image you want, then add a text box and type in the information, and adjust the size and type of font. Because this information will be hidden in the faculty lounge room, we need a link to this slide rather than the image itself. To obtain the link, click on the Share button on the top right of your Google Slides screen. A new window will appear that indicates the file is restricted. Change this to anyone with a link, then make sure the Viewer option is selected on the right-hand side of the window. This will allow escape room participants to view the slide without changing anything you have created. As a final step, copy the link and paste it into a document where you can track all the links you've created. We have one more step with the link. Here I have pasted the link for the slide. At the very end of the link, I have highlighted the last segment of the web address. This is the segment you will need to adjust when you place the final link in the faculty lounge room. Replace the word edit with the word present. This final step will give the hidden clue room its polished look because it is automatically viewed in presentation mode. Here's how it looks when a participant clicks on the link. I repeated this process 4 more times for the remaining statistics, lock equation, and instructions. I made sure the slides were viewable by anyone with the link and that each link had viewer capabilities only. Then I changed each web address by replacing the word edit at the end of the link with the word present. The final piece of the faculty lounge hidden room was the word puzzle. One of my favorite puzzle sites is puzzlemaker.com from Discovery Education. You can create a variety of puzzles for free and download them. You do not need an account. The puzzles are produced as images that you can place into a text document like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. That is not the end of creation though, because escape room puzzles need a purpose and a little more work. We chose a word scramble puzzle for the faculty lounge and used the signs of mental health problems as each scrambled word. PuzzleMaker only gave us the image on the right with the boxes and the scrambled letters above each box. We had to add the fill-in-the-blank clues to the left of the scrambled words to help participants solve each word. Before we released the escape room, we had a few testers go through it and provide feedback. One of the pieces of feedback we received was that the longer words were difficult to solve. On a few of the longer words, we entered the correct letters to make it just a little easier to solve. We also added the title and instructions. While PuzzleMaker provides an option to include the title and instructions in their downloadable version, it is not customized information, so I just downloaded the image so I can provide customization afterwards. And in order for the puzzle to be a static document that no participant can change, you need to save the final version as a PDF file. However, not all participants understand that it is a PDF document and become frustrated when they cannot enter letters on their computer screen. I created a disclaimer statement at the top of the document to let participants know about the PDF issue. One final piece of this puzzle was critical to the escape room. There are numbers under specific boxes for each scrambled word. Just unscrambling the words does not advance you through the escape room, so you need to create one more step so participants can get through a lock. To do this, we created a short phrase using some of the letters in the unscrambled words. I usually just think of an easy phrase that goes with the topic, then see if the letters are available. If not, I try to change one of the words until I can match my phrase to the available letters. Then I create numbers to go under the correct letter. The mystery phrase allows participants to put the numbered letters in order to reveal the lock answer. Once they have the phrase, they can enter it into the escape room and move on to the next room. This is what the mystery phrase piece looks like. I used Microsoft Word to create the entire word puzzle, using text boxes to add the hints, extra letters, and small numbers. For the mystery phrase boxes, I used the Shape tool and created a small box that seemed to match the size of the created puzzle. Then I copied and pasted enough small boxes to form the phrase and put the boxes together to create the words. As a final step, I copied each of the numbers from the puzzle and added them under the phrase boxes. Once you have the puzzle the way you want it, save it as a PDF file and upload it to the Google Drive folder where you're housing all of your escape room files. You will need to get a shareable link for the puzzle once you upload it to Google. You can do that by right-clicking on the file name in Google and select Get Link. Since it is a static document and participants cannot change it, there is no need to update the link. There are a variety of free resources on the internet that you can use to create puzzles and locks. For instance, there are sites that allow you to create fake text messages, or you can disguise a clue in a foreign language and provide the Google Translate link to help participants decode the clue. There are also a variety of ciphers online where you can use symbols or different letters to disguise a word or phrase. These could include hieroglyphics, Morse code, or even interactive cipher wheels that allow you to line up letters of the alphabet to stand for other letters, such as a J representing an A. One of my favorite puzzle options is Jigsaw Planet. You need a free account, but you can upload images such as a Google Slide image you created with a clue on it, and turn it into a jigsaw puzzle. Then you hide the link in a hidden clues room, and participants are taken to the interactive puzzle pieces and can put the jigsaw puzzle together online. One tip I will pass along about Jigsaw Planet is that it remembers your IP address, so if you solve the puzzle to test it out, each time you go to the site, the jigsaw will appear as solved. This is only your view. It remains unsolved for any new IP addresses that uses a link. There is a ransom note generator online so you can create fun text for a piece of information or a clue. There's also a website called GeoGreeting that turns real buildings into letters and slowly spells out a word or short phrase. Keep this one rather short as it looks very cluttered if you have a long word or phrase. Explore the internet for more puzzle ideas you can use in an escape room. Also search for more free virtual escape rooms because they will all introduce you to other puzzle ideas and tools. We have all the pieces to the faculty lounge, so we can start putting everything together in one Google slide. The first step is to find a good image to build upon. Using the image search tool, I looked for break room images and found this one. I liked it because it had some good details already in the room, such as the bulletin boards and a picture on the wall. You may notice that there is a cross near the door. A cross will not resonate with some participants, so I wanted to cover this up. I also wanted to add some more features to the room to provide options of where to hide clues and puzzles. Here is the final image. Notice that I added a laptop, an eating setup, a water cooler, and what looks to be a small poster on the wall covering up where the cross was located. I was trying to make it match the color of the wall, but didn't quite get there. Sometimes you just have to go with what you have. Now that this image is complete, I need to download the second slide as an image file to my computer. We need to create a different Google slide for the actual escape room, and we'll need that final image as the background of that slide. I created a new Google Slide file for the final Faculty Lounge Hidden Clues room and added the final image as the background. To do this, click the background option on the menu, then select Upload, which is the first option in the background pop-up tool. This will allow you to select the image you downloaded to your computer. The reason we need to take this background step is because we will be adding items on top of this image, so we need to lock it into place. With the background secure, we can begin adding hidden links around the room. To do this, select Insert, then Image, then Shape. You can select any shape you prefer. I like keeping it simple, so I select the rectangle. Because this is the actual Faculty Lounge slide that participants are using right now in the studentaffairs.com escape room, I'm going to create a new space for demonstration purposes so I can delete it afterwards. When you have your shape selected, click the spot where you want to begin the shape and drag your mouse to the side to make it a bit bigger. You want to keep it relatively small so it is more difficult to find when participants are looking for clues. You will notice that when you finish, the shape defaults to a white background. It is also outlined in black. We need to change both of those settings so it becomes hidden. You can find the Fill and Border tools in the toolbar. When you open the Fill tool, select the Transparent option at the bottom. Do the same with the Border tool. With the shape still selected, click on the Insert Link tool on the toolbar. You could also hover your mouse over the shape and right-click to get the Options menu. The Insert Link tool is listed there as well. When you click the Insert Link tool, another box will appear under your shape where you can enter a link. For demonstration purposes, I am entering the studentaffairs.com web address. You can click the Enter button on your keyboard to close the link window. Follow the same process to hide clues and puzzles created for the room. Here is one of the clues recreated in Google Slides. I created a very small box over the picture, which is highlighted in blue, then inserted the Google Slides link. This is the link where we change the word Edit to Present. When you click on the box, the slide image appears. You can also click on the box to go to the full page slide. The rest of the clues and puzzles are hidden in the same way. Anything that has a link can be hidden in the room. If you have specific websites, such as Jigsaw Planet for participants to visit, just hide the link in an inserted shape that is made transparent, and it will become part of the clues room. There is one more step we need to take before we can produce the escape room. Instructions, credits, and a certificate of completion are all good things to add to your escape room. Instructions can direct participants on what to do, while credits can point them to tools and resources that they may want to learn more about. The certificate of completion can be important because if there is an organization or class that uses the escape room for a required task, their certificate serves as their proof of finishing the escape room. We created all of this information in Google Slides so the process will look familiar. Instructions belong at the beginning of the escape room, so we wanted to start with an introduction slide. We added our Bitmojis to personalize it a little more. Then we stated our purposes for creating the escape room on the next slide. The instructions are provided on the third slide, with a recommendation for using Google Chrome on a computer for the escape room on the fourth slide. The fifth slide, which I will talk about more in just a moment, directs participants to write down the Hints and Cheats document web address. We conclude with a request to share experiences with the escape room on the studentaffairs.com social media accounts. When you finish creating the slides you want as part of your introduction, save them all as image files to your computer. You will need to upload them when you create the actual escape room. I wanted to discuss the fifth slide a bit more. This is where we directed participants to the Hints and Cheats page. It is a good idea for you to provide some kind of answer document because participants can get stuck. They may not be able to find all of the hidden links in a room, or they may not be able to solve a puzzle. Create a Google Doc file with the information you want to share. Since the Google file links are long, I prefer to go to bit.ly.com to get a shortened link. You can create a free account with Bitly and it is simple to use. Just click the Create button at the top of the site and a new link tool will open. Paste the long Google link into the tool. It has a space under the link area where you can customize the link. If what you enter is already taken, you will need to come up with another option. For instance, since we've already claimed Hints and Cheats, it is no longer available to anyone else. Or you can just use the random link Bitly generates. Whatever short link you end up with, make sure you include it and tell participants what it is for. Here's a quick glance at the Hints and Cheats page in Google Docs. I started with an introduction so participants would know where to go depending on what they wanted. Some participants prefer just to have a hint when they get stuck. If you put the answers too close to the hints, they will get more information than they wanted. My solution was to put each hint on its own page, followed by each answer on its page. There is no possible way to accidentally see more information than they were looking for with this approach. As a reminder, when you click the Share button to get the link for this document, make sure to update the share settings. Select anyone with a link can access it, but only as a viewer, so they cannot change anything on the page. We used the Google Slides process to develop the credits. We included the hyperlinks to the technology tools used in the escape room, as well as the content resources. We saved the slides as an image file, but we also obtained the shareable link and updated the end of the link by deleting the word edit and replacing it with present. We turned this link into a shortened Bitly link. While we wanted to focus on the information through the image, we also wanted to share the link so participants could learn more. The escape room is produced with Google Forms, which does not have the ability to post interactive images, so we shared the image, then included the Bitly link in the text. We created the certificate of completion in Google Slides. First, I found a certificate image from the Insert Image tool, inserted the studentaffairs.com logo, then added the name and date lines and text, but not the blue text instructions. With everything but the blue text instructions, I saved the slide as an image file. Then I created a new slide and uploaded that image file as the background. This locks the image into place so participants cannot change it. I deleted the original slide where I created the certificate, so all that was left was the slide with the locked certificate background. Then I added the blue text instructions. There is one last step to the certificate that is special. When you get the shareable link, we can't update the word edit to the word present because the present version only lets participants interact with the slide but not download it. Instead, we need to update the word edit at the end of the shareable link to the word copy. When participants click on the certificate link, the first thing they will see is a prompt asking them to download the file. When they download, they can add their own information and print it out. And because this link is long, I got a shortened bit.ly link. Now that we have all the pieces, our final step is to produce the actual escape room. For that, we will use Google Forms. To get ready for the escape room creation, open a new Google Form document and have all image files saved on your computer and all links ready to go. When you first open a new Google Form, this is what you will see. You will need to take care of the basics like naming the file and naming the escape room. You can name them the same thing or something different. Moving to the right side of the form, the first setting icon is an artist palette, and it lets you change the background color, theme, and font style. You can't do a lot with the design, but you do have some choices. Make whichever design choices you prefer at the beginning so you can see how it will look all the way through the escape room design. The next icon is an eye, and it gives you a preview of what you are designing. This comes in handy when you want to test a portion of the escape room and see if it is working the way you want it to. The final icon is the gear that indicates settings. Click on this icon. The first tab is for general settings. If you offer your escape room to anyone who wants to participate, there is no need to change any default options. If you need to track who has started or completed the escape room, though, check the first option of collecting emails. The remaining options are tools for quizzes and tests and do not apply. The Presentation tab allows you to do a few things. First, you can show a progress bar as participants work their way through the escape room. I typically do not use this option because part of the fun of an escape room is not knowing when you will reach the end. The Shuffle Question option is not a good one to select for escape rooms because it will move everything around and would likely change what you were trying to accomplish in the room. The third option is checked by default and provides the starting link to the escape room after someone has completed it. I find it useful to keep it checked because participants may want to go back to the beginning or share the link with friends. The final option on this page is a confirmation message. This comes at the very end of the escape room after participants submit their final answer. You can enter whatever you would like here. I usually offer congratulations for escaping message. The final setting is quizzes and only applies if you're using the form for a test or a quiz. Since that is not our purpose, I leave it in the default mode. When we have settings as we want them, we can begin the escape room creation. The default starting segment is a question. That will come later in the escape room. For now, we need to add our introductory slides that we saved as images. To do that, make sure you've clicked on the question segment to select that segment. You will know you have selected it when the blue line appears on the left-hand side of the segment. This is important to keep track of because if you have selected a different segment and did not change to the one you want, when you add another segment, it will be added somewhere else in the escape room. If that happens, you can drag the out-of-place segment and drop it where you need it. To add the first image, go to the vertical toolbar on the right-hand side of the segment and select the fourth icon. You will see the Add Image text when you hover your mouse over the icon, so if you're not sure what each icon does, you can learn more just by hovering your mouse over an icon. The Insert Image tool defaults to the Upload option, which is what you need. Just click the Browse button and find your first intro image. When you add the image, it places a new segment under the question segment. You will need to delete the question segment so you can begin with your intro slide. First, make sure the question segment is selected by checking to see if the blue bar appears on the left. If not, click on the segment to select. Then click the garbage can icon at the bottom right of the segment. Here is the start of our escape room after deleting the question. We changed the background color and font type. We want to add another image, so follow the same process by clicking on the current segment to select it, then clicking the Add Image icon on the vertical toolbar on the right. This will let us upload another image, so we will choose the second introductory slide image we created. This process adds the next image under the first. One thing to keep in mind is that the more segments you add, the more participants will need to scroll down on the page. We want to limit the number of segments on a page, so we will try to limit each page to 1 or 2 segments. To add a page break and force participants to click the next button to move forward, we need to first make sure we have selected our current segment and look for the blue bar on the left side of the segment. Then we move to the vertical toolbar on the right and select the last icon that says Add Section. Adding a section prompts the words after section 1 and a drop-down list with the default option of continue to the next section at the bottom of the image. We will keep this default option. We also have the start of a new section. We can add a new title for the next page, or we can delete the words and leave it blank. When we use the eye icon in the settings area at the top right of Google Forms, we can see what our first page looks like so far. Notice the next button at the bottom of the page. That is where we added the new section. Continue this process for adding any images or new sections you need to create. Let's move on to adding links and locks. When you are ready to add a hidden clues room or a puzzle, you first want to add text for the instructions. To do this, go to the vertical toolbar on the right and click the T icon. When the segment is created, add some text in the title box. The title provides larger font so the instructions will be easy to see. For the Faculty Lounge Hidden Clues Room, we directed participants to the room link, that they should come back to this page after they have finished with the room, and that they are looking for 6 hidden clues. The title does not allow interactivity, so you can't provide a hyperlink in large text. Instead, place your link address in the description area just below the title. It will be hyperlinked in the final version. To finish out the page, we selected the Add Image icon and found the image of the Faculty Lounge so participants would know what the room looked like. Then we added a new segment to move to the lock question. Repeat this process for each Hidden Clues room you have. Now we will share how to set up questions in Google Forms. Remember that we created 2 locks for the Faculty Lounge. The first lock was an equation, so we need participants to enter the correct number. We first offer a prompt to participants asking if they solved the equation. If they didn't solve the equation, they can use the back button to return to the Faculty Lounge link and continue looking. If they did solve the equation, they will enter their answer in this segment. To add a question, make sure your title segment is selected, then click the plus sign in the circle on the vertical toolbar on the right side of the page. That will add a question window like this one. You will then enter your question text and select question type. The default setting is multiple choice, so you will need to go to the option list and select short answer. We want to make sure to require the question, so participants have to enter an answer to move forward. To do this, click on the Required button at the bottom right of the question segment. We still have one more thing to do, and that is to make sure the answer that is entered is actually the correct answer. To do this, click on the 3 dots on the right-hand side of the question segment. This will show a short drop-down menu. Select Response Validation. Checking Response Validation will open some options in the center of the question segment that we need to adjust. The first option is the type of answer we are looking for. The default setting is number, which is what we need, so we will leave that alone. But we do want an exact number as the answer, so we will need to make sure the second option is set to equal to. Click on the down arrow for this option to find the list and select equal to. The third option is where we enter the correct number of 8. And the fourth option is the text we want to appear if participants enter the wrong number. That completes the question, so we can add a new section. Adding a new section locks participants onto this screen until they provide the correct answer. We will repeat the process for the mystery phrase lock. First, add your title that prompts participants for the next response. Then add a question by clicking on the plus sign in a circle from the right-hand menu. Enter your question text and select short answer. Next, require the question to force participants to enter an answer. Then click on the 3 dots and select Response Validation to get the center line of options to appear. We need some different options this time because the answer is text rather than a number. In the first option, make sure text is selected. When you select text, the second option will have a short list to select from. Select Contains. Enter the correct text in the third option. And capitalization matters for this response, so be careful how you choose to enter the text. I typically choose all lowercase letters. Whatever you choose for capitalization, make sure to prompt participants by adding some instructions in the question text. Here I have directed participants to use all lowercase letters.
You can move back and forth between lowercase and uppercase letters if you want to make sure participants are paying attention. Just remember to provide some instructions in your question text so they know what to do. Otherwise, you end up with frustrated participants who end their experience even though they have the correct answer. Finally, enter the text you want to appear if participants enter the wrong answer. You can continue adding images, instructions, and question blocks until you reach the end of your escape room. At that point, add another title and description, then enter a concluding message. Include the link to the certificate of completion underneath, and remind participants to use the link, as it can be easy to overlook. Don't forget to add your credits image along with the link to the actual slides so participants can use the hyperlinks if they wish. Don't forget to use the eye icon to preview your escape room. Whenever you find a problem, you can go back to the original form to fix it, then return to the eye icon and preview it again. When you have your escape room ready, pilot test it with several friends so they can give you feedback. Make any adjustments you need, then you are ready to launch the escape room. There are several options you can use to launch your final escape room. In your Google Forms document, click the Send button at the upper right-hand corner of the page. A pop-up window will give you some options. You can enter specific emails by clicking on the envelope option, or copy an embed code for your own web page by selecting the brackets icon. The easiest option is just to get the link by clicking on the link icon. This results in a very long link though, which can be problematic when you're trying to share it. Google Forms has a built-in abbreviated link option. Click the Shorten URL button under the link and Google Forms will give you a much shorter link. If you want an even shorter link that is easy for participants to type into a web browser, take this shortened link and go to bit.ly.com to create a very short link. All of those steps will help you create your first escape room, but there are ways to add some complexity when you become more comfortable with the technology. We will share a variety of strategies for building complexity. First, you can increase the quantity of puzzles. The more puzzles you have, the longer it takes and the more challenging it becomes to escape. You can also use the multiple choice question option. With each option, Google Form allows you to take participants to a different segment of the escape room. If they get the answer incorrect, they can be taken to false clues or earlier points in the escape room. If you do use multiple choice locks, warn the participants of what could happen if they select a wrong answer so they don't get too frustrated. Complexity can be built into the story itself by hiding clues in the text. You could use the first letter of each sentence, every fifth word, or even bold certain words or make them different colors. You can also add more hidden images. By increasing quantity, you also increase complexity, especially if you design fake clues that can delay participants in finding the correct clues. Images can also contain clues. For instance, if you add a clock image to a hidden clues room, use the time on the clock as a lock answer. Changing puzzle types can also add to the complexity of an escape room. There are a variety of word puzzles you can create, such as mazes with letters that spell a word or phrase along the correct path, or crossword puzzles with specific letters circled to form a clue. You can also use a variety of ciphers, such as Morse code or hieroglyphics. You can search the internet for ciphers and choose from a variety of options. You can also build in some trivia about whatever topic your escape room covers. Hide pieces of a final clue in each segment of your escape room so participants have to collect small bits of information along the way in order to make their final escape. Or change the background color of the story images and add a color puzzle at the end that has participants put the colors in order according to the story sequence. You can also use QR codes instead of links in the hidden clue rooms, so participants have to use a QR code reader to get the link. Make sure to notify participants in the escape room introduction that they will need a QR code reader and where they can find one. In addition to word puzzles, you can create puzzles from music, such as naming a popular tune or artist, showing historical video clips such as famous speeches and asking participants to name the person giving the speech, or having participants calculate some kind of equation for a door lock or map coordinates. As you create more escape rooms, you can utilize the full functionality of Google Forms by creating a choose-your-own-adventure escape room through the use of multiple choice questions. Each path can have different puzzles or outcomes. To find even more ideas, search the internet for free virtual escape rooms and become a participant in as many as you have time for. The more you participate, the more you will discover new ideas and tools to use in your own escape rooms. Once you have your escape room created, you can use it live via Zoom. The best approach I have found is to have everyone start in the main Zoom room and post the starting link in the chat box. Move students to breakout rooms. You can either upload prearranged teams or let Zoom assign teams randomly. 2 to 3 people per group works best. Enable screen sharing capabilities in the breakout rooms ahead of time so groups can work off the same screen. If you do not have access to screen sharing options in breakout rooms, ask students to use their own video meeting software such as Google Meets to do the escape room and come back to the Zoom room when they need to. To make the live escape room more interactive, substitute some of your locks for a live check-in with you. Instead of typing an answer, include a note in the escape room that directs teams to share the lock answer with you by inviting you to their Zoom breakout room. You will see a pop-up notice that a group has invited you to their room. Click Join Room to enter. Once there, the group can share the answer they found. If they get it correct, you can share a new code word or phrase that they can enter to continue with the escape room. Make sure to create the corresponding question segment so they have somewhere to enter your phrase. That concludes this instructional video on creating virtual escape rooms. We hope we have inspired you to create your own escape room and offer some fun activities for others to complete. You can find the transcript for this video in the description, along with the link to the studentaffairs.com escape room. Please feel free to play that one and see all the other puzzles and locks we created. Thanks for watching.